Hey everybody, and welcome to another Hands Occupied video tutorial. I'm Heidi, the blogger behind Hands Occupied, and today I'm going to show you how to work a short row heel turn for cuff down socks. So socks that are cast on at this part of a sock and worked like this, rounding the corner of the heel and going down to the toe of the sock. So a heel turn is kind of intimidating at first. The very first heel turn I learned when I learned to make socks was the short row heel turn. You can see here, this is what I'm about to show you in this video. So what we started with is a flat rectangular piece of knitting, and we worked back and forth, working to the middle of the heel and working outward, forming these vertical stranded colorwork stripes. So essentially the heel of a short row sock is just a triangle that gets your knitting to go from the tube that it is through the ankle. Then you work the heel flap here, and then you work on just this little part here to do your heel turn to make your sock round the corner, so to speak, and become a foot-shaped garment. To start working our heel turn, we are going to begin by working halfway, a little past halfway down our needle of stitches, or our heel flap. In this piece of knitting's case, color A, when I refer to it, is going to be the blue yarn, and color B is going to be the orange yarn, just FYI. So for the first row, we need to get to the middle of the sock, because what we're doing is called a short row heel turn. So we're going to be knitting to the middle and working back and forth, getting wider and wider on our stitches until we've gotten this straight piece of knitting to be curved almost in half in a V shape. Let me show you the finished thing we're going for here. So here's a sock that I've done with the same colors I'm demonstrating on. So if you see here, if I open up the heel, you can see, actually let's look at it this way. You can see all of that linen stitch like I have on my needle here. That's my heel flap. And then if you look at it from the perspective of the bottom of the foot, you can see that it's V-shaped. And so what we're doing is starting here and winding our way to the end to turn our heel, forming that right angle. For row one, we're going to be looking at the right side of our work, and we will begin by slipping one stitch with our working yarn in front, which in this case is the blue yarn, and then we will alternate knitting one in color A and color B 7 times. So one in A, one in B, 7 times. And one more makes 7, one in A, one in B. Then we will knit one more with color A, and then using color B, we will do an SSK, or a slip-slip knit. So slip one as if to knit, slip one as if to purl, knit both stitches together with color B, and we will do one final knit one. If I can grab the right tail, we will do one final knit one with color A. And that's all we do for row one, which seems kind of wild because there's all these stitches we haven't even touched on our non-dominant or left-hand needle. That's okay, this is how short rows work. We don't work all of these stitches right away. So now we turn our work to the wrong side for row two. And row two, we once again start by slipping a stitch with the yarn in front. Then we will purl one in color B, purl one in color A, purl one more in color B, then purl two together A, purl 1A, and that's it. So looking at our needle, all we're doing for row 2 is this handful of stitches. But here's some things to take a look at if this is your first short row heel turn. Notice how there's a little bit of a gap here, because all these stitches, you'll remember, we haven't yet touched in row 1 or 2. And you'll notice there's only a handful of stitches. And then we've got even more stitches over here on this needle that we worked the first time to get us to the middle of the heel, but aren't touching now. So let's pause for a minute to talk about how this works with different stitch counts than what I'm demonstrating. On my needle, I've got 32 stitches. Your sock might have a different number of stitches on it, which is totally fine. You'll work about halfway through your stitches, and there's tutorials out there on how to do your stitch math, including one I have on my blog, handsoccupied.com. I've got a link here with where to access that tutorial that shows you how to do the math on working a short row heel turn. So just remember that this video shows how to do a 32 stitch heel turn, but your stitch count might be a little different, resulting in a little bit different number of stitch counts. All right. Now that we've finished row 2, we're going to work row 3. To work row 3, we'll turn our work to the right side and start by slipping one with the yarn in back, the yarn on the wrong side. So slip one. Then we're going to knit 1A, knit 1B twice. A, B, A, B again. Then right now we're back to, remember that gap I pointed out before? Over that gap is where the slip, slip, knit will happen, thereby closing that gap. So slip, slip, knit the 2 stitches together with A and finish by knitting 1B. It's also important to note that I'm doing a 2-color heel turn, which makes things a little bit more complicated because that's how I roll. Now we're back to the wrong side for row 4. And you'll notice that we're working, like I said before, we're zigzagging outward from the center of our heel, creating that triangle that will be the heel of the socks. You're starting to see this kind of blister, this bubble up on the work. This right here is the back of your heel. And once we keep working across in the same fashion we've done, our work will turn into that great V shape and fit around a heel, and you'll have turned your sock 90 degrees from the cuff down that you've worked. All right, at this point, there's 1 stitch left. And we just worked on the wrong side of our work with 1 stitch left. Then we're going to turn it. And there's still just that 1 stitch on your needle. We'll get it the next time we're working on the other side. And we will slip 1 as usual with the yarn in back. Then knit 1B, knit 1A 7 times. Four, 5, 6, 7. A, 7B. Now we're at our gap where we do our usual SSK, and we do that SSK with color B to keep our color A and color B striping like they're supposed to in pattern. Then we end with knit 1A, and we'll turn it, leaving, just like before, 1 stitch on our needle. And we are almost done, just 2 rows left. Slip 1 with yarn in front, then do purl 1B, purl 1A, 7 times. Then we will do 1 more purl 1B, and end that row with purl 2 together A, working all those stitches on that row. Then for the very last row of the heel turn, we will work all the way across, slipping 1 with yarn in front, then knitting 1 color B, 1 color A, one, 2, 3, and 4. Now, a lot of patterns would have you, since this is halfway across the row, and everything, as you can see for our 2-color heel turn, everything is in pattern like it should be. A lot of patterns would have you put your stitch marker here, and that's the beginning of your round, and your heel is turned. In the sock patterns I write for cuff down socks, this is what I do, because it's easier to have the round start in the center of your heel. But I'm just going to continue working in pattern all the way across this so you can see what this turned heel looks like on 1 needle, so you can get an idea of the knitting acrobatics and that we've just accomplished, and the new shape you've been able to knit by working these short rows. If this is your first introduction to short rows, congratulations. Short rows are really useful in design work and in knitting for shaping and for other fun things. But the short row heel is the first sock knitting heel I ever learned, and I find it really useful. So you can see that what we've done as we worked back and forth in this video is knit essentially a triangle, but the thing is, we were working from a flat edge piece, or a totally flat rectangular piece, like this. So what we've done is gotten our work to bend in half, forming a heel so that your foot could fit right in that sock heel. Let me show you the example sock again, just for your reference. So what we did is right here, right along this part, we worked back and forth, making that triangle shape. You you can see these side by side, that triangle shape for our heel turn. And we even did this using 2 colors, which is pretty cool. Again, congrats if you made it this far. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for even more knitting video tutorials. Give us a like if you liked what you saw. Leave a comment if you've got any questions, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.